I only needed $400 to pay an overdue bill. I walked into the same small-town bank I'd visited for years, expecting a 5-minute transaction. But instead of counting my cash, the teller looked at my ID, froze, and quietly picked up the phone. Moments later, the bank manager rushed out and said, "Sir, please come with us. We've been waiting 30 years for you." My heart dropped. I had never seen these people before. What they showed me next would completely rewrite everything I believed about my family, my past, and my future. I had spent my entire life believing I came from nothing. My parents had died when I was young, and I was raised by relatives who constantly reminded me of that. I should be grateful for whatever little I had. Every paycheck disappeared into rent, groceries, and overdue bills. That morning, I wasn't thinking about miracles. I only needed $400 to keep my electricity from being shut off. The bank was unusually quiet. I handed over my debit card and ID. The teller typed my information, then suddenly stopped. Her smile disappeared. She checked the screen again, whispered something to another employee, and politely asked me to wait. Within minutes, the branch manager appeared carrying a thick, dusty folder sealed inside a plastic envelope. He apologized for the delay before saying words I could barely understand. 30 years ago, your father came here with strict instructions. If his son ever returned with proper identification, this file had to be handed over personally. I stared at him in disbelief. My father died when I was 6. The manager nodded gently. Yes, but before his accident, he prepared everything. Inside the folder were handwritten letters, family photographs I'd never seen, legal documents, and a safety deposit key. My hands shook as I unfolded the first letter. If you're reading this, it means life didn't go the way I hoped. I couldn't protect you, but I prayed this day would come. Tears blurred the page. The documents revealed a shocking truth. My father had secretly invested in land before I was born. Years later, that land became part of a massive commercial development. He never told anyone except the bank because he feared certain relatives would steal everything. If something happened to him, his instructions were simple. The investment would remain untouched. Until I personally peered with valid identification after turning 35. The manager then escorted me into the bank vault. Inside the safety deposit box was another sealed envelope, several original property deeds, and investment certificates that had quietly grown for decades. An attorney joined us by video call and confirmed the unbelievable news. After taxes and legal transfers, the estate was now worth several $1,000,000. I couldn't even process the number. For years, I had skipped meals to save money. I had worked overtime every weekend. I had worried about paying a $400 bill, yet my father had spent decades protecting the future I never knew existed. The attorney also explained why nobody had contacted me sooner. The account required my physical appearance with government identification because of fraud attempts made years earlier. Several people had falsely claimed to be the rightful heir, but the bank refused every request, following my father's written instructions exactly. As I left the vault, the teller smiled through tears. We've imagined this day for years. Driving home felt unreal. I parked outside the tiny apartment I'd struggled to afford and reread my father's final letter. His last sentence changed my life forever. Wealth isn't measured by what you inherit. It's measured by what you become before you receive it. Instead of buying luxury cars or mansions, I paid off every debt. I donated anonymously to children's education programs. I restored my parents' old home. Most importantly, I forgave the relatives who had hidden parts of my past. Carrying anger had kept me poor long before money ever did. 30 years earlier, my father had trusted complete strangers inside a small bank with his greatest treasure. They kept their promise. And because of that promise, one ordinary trip to withdraw $400 became the day I finally found my family again. Sometimes the greatest inheritance isn't money waiting inside a vault. It's the proof that someone believed in your future long before you believed in yourself. One ordinary bank visit uncovered 30 years of loyalty, sacrifice, and a father's final promise. The real fortune wasn't the millions. It was discovering that true love can outlive time, distance, and even death.